Hi, my name is Peter and I work with Cole and Per. We interviewed Gabriel Dusil from Visual Unity.
We'll get right into it, and we're hoping that you'd be able to just introduce yourself a little and let us know how you got to be involved with Visual Unity. Sorry.
Okay, so my name is Gabriel Dusil, and I am head of marketing. I do marketing and strategy in Visual Unity. And I came here actually through 12 years of internet security and joined Visual 2 years ago to run marketing. My experience is actually 10 years in marketing and 10 years in sales across European, Middle East, and African markets. So I kind of bring that level of expertise in marketing and sales to the company. And they were looking for a marketing manager in order to help expand the company internationally and bring an international flavor to the Visual Unity portfolio.
So we wanted to interview Visual Unity because, for one thing, they're in the tech industry, and we feel that tech industry is something that's very interesting, constantly changing. Some of the biggest innovations have come from the tech industry lately. Look at Instagram, Twitter, and even Netflix, things along those lines. So I think the tech industry was a great industry to choose. And also, Visual Unity is one of the leaders in the Czech Republic when it comes to technology, so we really want to see how they operated as a company. And we also found their international expansion something to be really interesting, to see how they've been adapting and exploring new markets like Canada, the USA, Dubai, and other markets. And then also, we really like Visual Unity because most startups are very small, that kind of ideological, very few employees, little success so far, whereas Visual Unity is a very large company, not your typical startup. So we really wanted to take a different approach to this product and see how they functioned as a company. What have you found to be the hardest part in joining this new company?
Well, that's actually a good question. I think what the hardest part is. I think one of the things that is challenging is on a few fronts. One is that culturally we come from a project-based business. So Visual Unity was project-led in terms of servicing the broadcast industry, and we are transitioning now into a product-led company where our product, which is vuMedia, it's our OTT platform, requires a different mindset. In a project-led business, you basically win the project and then you allocate resources and then deliver on the project. In a product-led business, you basically develop the product first and then you sell it afterwards, right? So there's a different mindset in terms of how developers need to develop for a project versus a product. And when you start to transition a company into a product-led business, then you're basically building a solution without the revenue yet. You're building it so that it's ready for the market sometime in the future, and in the future you'll generate revenue. And that kind of mindset is a challenge. And part of my role is to build a marketing message around a product and help strategize around the roadmap for building that product. And then as one of the managers in the company, to help the culture of the company transition to a product-led organization.
When we were preparing for the interview, we researched the company, we looked at their homepage and also on other places on the internet to get more information about what they actually did. Our main contact in the company was Gabriel Dusil, and we also looked at his blog and on his LinkedIn page to see what he did before and what questions we should ask him. Thirdly, we tried to put ourselves in the situation of a startup to see what are the main issues they have to deal with and what questions we had to ask to get answers to this.
One of the topics we were just talking about in class last week was risk management and crisis management. So I was kind of wondering what Visual Unity's philosophy was on risk taking and how you guys evaluate risk, and if you guys would consider yourself to be a more risky or more conservative company.
Well, as a startup, you're basically don't really have a risk management strategy. I think most startups are so busy looking after, looking for new business, that risk management is all part of a corporate culture, not a startup culture. But it doesn't mean that you're risk averse. You're still focusing your energy on generating revenue where revenue can be generated in terms of low-hanging fruits and so on. But a management strategy for risk really doesn't exist in that case. If we were to say that there is some sort of strategy in terms of risk management, it's all about making sure that you're spending your money where you believe will have the highest return on investment.
So one of our main key takeaways from doing this assignment was that we really learned that although startups can come in all different shapes and sizes, different amounts of employees, income, profit, whatever, they all still essentially have the same core obstacles that they have to overcome, those being capital, experience, and developing strong leadership within the company.
So as for the conclusion, it was nice to see how the theory we had learned in class was actually being put into practice by a real life company, and how they actually managed these topics like risk management, crisis management, and culture in the real world. It was also an interesting experience actually going into the office and seeing how it was laid out and meeting the employees also. And just by going there, it displayed how successful they had been and how successful they will be in the future.